Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
One of the staff members looked to him and said, "Hey, I know you can fight. If people burst through this door, we're going to do our best to protect you, but if we go down, you're going to have to fight survival."
That message told to this man's 11-year-old son, a patient there for help.
Put your hands on top of your head!
It was the active shooter drill inside this state-run child psychiatric hospital that got national attention.
Did you guys know it was a drill?
Oh, no. New tonight, the state agrees to pay patients and staff in a $13 million class action lawsuit. Results after our triggering fear and confusion investigation. The multi-million-dollar settlement just announced goes to help children and staff who were traumatized by that unannounced active shooter drill.
Local 4 investigators first exposed this story 14 months ago. This happened at the Hawthorne Center, which is a state-run psychiatric hospital for children in Northville Township.
So we bring in our Local 4 investigator, Karen Drew, who broke this story, and now with this breaking development on it.
Yeah, Devin and Kim, $13 million. We're talking about a major settlement here that can help these traumatized patients. So many are asking, what was the state thinking when it conducted this drill? Now remember, we're talking about hospitalized children with mental health issues. And someone thought it was a good idea to tell them 2 gunmen were on the loose inside their facility, when in reality, it was just a drill.
I wish they would come out and say that they were actually wrong, but $13 million is a large sum of money. And even if they don't say they're wrong, I think there's a pretty big implication there that they did something and they needed to make it right.
David Horian reacting to news of the settlement. His 11-year-old son was a patient at the child psych hospital.
Can you tell me what's going on?
Keep the line open.
Put your hands on top of your head!
When that unannounced active shooter drill went down.
Is this a drill?
Those inside thought it was real. They say they were terrified.
Did you guys know it was a drill?
Oh, no.
Dylan is struggling. Dylan is autistic, among other diagnoses. He's still struggling. We're still trying to seek to get him more care.
I hope, for starters, that it teaches a really solid lesson to everyone that you do not scare people like that. It's all too real.
In the settlement, the state agrees to pay $13 million to resolve all claims raised from the December 21st, 2022 incident. Money will go to the 50 patients and 110 employees. The state admits to no wrongdoing.
This is a children's psychiatric hospital, and the idea that somebody would think it was even remotely a good idea to run a drill that would go to the deepest fears any of us have with impressionable children who already have psychiatric and neurological disabilities and scare them to death.
Included in the suit, the hospital employee who was told by supervisors to get on the speaker and tell everyone there were 2 gunmen in the hospital when there were not.
And I've spoken with her, and she said, I tried to say, are you sure this is a good idea? But she was ordered to do this. And she was so afraid. And that fear in her voice sounded so real.
You did fine, okay? I'm sorry that was
really
And the message to the state of Michigan from you?
I would really like to see the people who made this decision held accountable, more so than just a dollar figure.
So each patient will be getting $57,000. A legal team has been set up to make sure that the funds are dispersed appropriately. Remember, many of these patients are special needs, and the money is needed to help them with continual care after this incident. Now, there is the other side to the story, the staff that worked there that had to hide from the alleged gunmen. I got the chance to sit down and talk with one of the mental health workers, Naquana Jones. She walked us through what happened that day.
So I'm thinking, how am I going to get out of here? And I was just thinking I'm going to take this office chair and bust this window and jump out the window. So with them saying it, they said it again, and it was like, it's 1 white, 1 black. They got AR-15s. And I was just like, this is real.
Now, that's just the beginning of what she experienced. Naquana's perspective is really so important to hear from what the staff had to go through. She also shares how the state treated her. She's got a lot to say. I think many can really learn from her experience. So here's what we want you to do. Scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen. At that link, You're going to find information on how to watch Naquana's interview, which is dropping right now on Local 4 Plus, along with all of my investigative reports on the incident. Now, that link is also going to take you to the special section that we have dedicated to this story on clickondetroit.com. We're talking about dozens of stories. We've got those 911 calls made that day, the police body cam from the day of the drill. I also posted the settlement that was reached just about 65 minutes ago this afternoon, along with the statement from the state where, by the way, they say they regret patients and staff were negatively affected by the incident, but admit no wrongdoing. And we've got that all posted there for you.
So settlement, terribly important. But David, the father, in your piece, wants accountability for those who made the decision.
Right, because you don't want this to ever happen again, right? Yeah, and that's the outrageous part. So we did some checking. The manager who actually planned the armed intruder drill, he's still a state employee. He kept his title as physical plant supervisor. We also found out he's been moved. He's now working at the Walter Reuther Psychiatric Hospital. So as you can imagine, so many families are upset because some of those kids from Hawthorne got moved over to Walter Reuther. The story's not over.
No, it is not, absolutely. All right, Karen. Now, to day 5 of the Jennifer Crumbley trial, we have heard from several new witnesses today, including a detective who was part of the team carrying out a search warrant at the Oxford shooter's home.
Sean Lay spent the day in the courtroom again. Sean, it was an explosive day.
Truly, and I want to take everyone right inside the courtroom right away because so much happening today. Take a look. Jennifer Crumbley never asked how many kids were killed or how many were hurt, if any teachers or staff were shot. Just moments after her son opened fire inside Oxford High School with a 9mm handgun James and Jennifer Crumbley bought for him just days before. Brought in by sheriff's deputies that afternoon while Oxford students were still being rushed to the hospital, Jennifer Crumbley didn't ask about her son. Instead, she refused to answer questions and demanded a lawyer. After that meeting, Crumbley was in the back of a sheriff's cruiser, again, not showing the emotion a mother might show after a school shooting, one committed by her own son.
Anger, he never exerted anything. Like, he's just like one of those mellow, laid-back kids.
Still, the afternoon of the shooting, sheriff's investigators said they needed Crumbley's phone. She refused. Detective Sam Marsban says he had to explain to her how serious this was.
Told her that there were several dead kids and kids that were shot in the school, and this was a significant incident and was already on the national news, and even the president had addressed it.
After charges against the parents were announced, the parents fled. Body camera video showing police finding the couple hiding in a building in Detroit after a statewide manhunt. At Crumbley's trial late this afternoon, a surprise. Prosecutors calling a firefighter named Brian Malaj, who exchanged Facebook messages with Jennifer Crumbley right after Crumbley met with school officials and her son 90 minutes before the shooting. At that meeting, the Crumbleys did not tell school officials they had bought a handgun for their son. Jennifer Crumbley insisted her son go back to class, not go home or get mental health treatment. But she left that meeting thinking her son was up to something.
Was worried he was going to do something dumb.
Back here live. The jury was cleared out of that courtroom after that testimony from that firefighter by the judge. Jennifer Crumbley, we'll show you at 6 o'clock. She was sworn in by the judge so her attorney could ask if it was okay with Crumbley to expose an extramarital affair with that very witness. She said absolutely she was willing to do that because that set off a blistering cross-examination. We're working on that right now. We'll have it for you live at 6, guys.
That was riveting stuff, too. All right, Sean, our coverage is going to continue here at 5:30. Paula Tutman has been heading our streaming coverage of this trial on Local 4 Plus, which you can watch, by the way, whenever court is in session. But Paula will tell us more about this extramarital affair evidence that is now being allowed in the trial and what that could mean for the defense.
All right, it is another gloomy, gray day in Metro Detroit.
Specializing in that. Going to get down to freezing again tonight. Kim Adams now with some rain and drizzle that might complicate things.
A little
little bit. This is very patchy stuff we're talking about. We're not talking about ice accumulation or anything like that, but we will be watching the temperatures as we do expect some drizzle overnight tonight, and then tomorrow it should be just rain as temperatures climb back into the 40s. Right now it's 41 downtown, upper 30s in Howell and the Pier, and 38 in Monroe. Exact Track 40 radar is quiet, but we do expect light drizzle overnight tonight. I want to show you snow totals, though, for the month of January. We got 17 inches of snow. Our average is 13.5. Last year we had 11 inches of snow, and we did break the record for the most amount of liquid precipitation. This is the liquid equivalent, so that includes both rain and snow. We got 5.25 inches. Our average is just over 2. So we've had a very busy January, but it is looking like a nice start to February, and I can't wait to tell you about it coming up.
You bet. All right, we'll talk to you in a few minutes, Kim. President Biden is expected to visit Michigan tomorrow as part of his 2024 campaign for re-election. Associated Press is reporting the president is going to meet with UAW workers somewhere in Metro Detroit. Details not out yet. But just last week, of course, Union President Shawn Fain announced he is backing Biden for the White House. We'll bring you more information as soon as we have it. And, of course, we will be covering the president's visit tomorrow.